everyone. Thanks for tuning Blaque in once again to Authentic Black Goddess TV. I'm your host, QueenAShakur. So as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. You can follow me on Instagram at QueenAShakur. You can also follow the QueenAShakur fan page, and you can follow me on Twitter at DGoddess27. So let's get into the nefariousness of it all, beloveds. Held captive. Evil family kept woman as a slave for 6 years, making her sleep in a shed as she worked 7 days a week for no pay. And so 2 men and 2 women from Eindhoven have been put behind bars after the Polish woman was kept in shocking, unsanitary conditions and banned from contacting her family. One of the people was Isabella Deitzlo, who's 47 years old, and she looks 67, honey, trust me. And then Andres Kasparowicz, 63 years old. He got 9 years in prison. The woman Isabella got 9 years. And then Zanel Deitzlo, who's only 19, she was sentenced to 16 months in custody, suspended for 24 months and 180 hours unpaid work. So she'll see what it's like to be a slave, okay? Working for not getting paid. Now, Camel Wesolowski, age 22, was sentenced to 12 months in custody, suspended for 24 months, 124 hours of unpaid work. So let's talk about what these devils did. So Isabella Deitzlo, the 47-year-old, and Andreas Kasparowicz, 63, were both jailed for 9 years, while Sinzel Deitzlo, 19, and Kamel Weselo, 22, were handed suspended sentences and 100 hours of unpaid work. Now, the police are saying, the police say that the woman who had lost both her parents had come to the UK for a better life before she was exploited by the sick family. She was approached with a promise of work in England, and she was brought over by minibus on October the 26th of 2014, thinking that she would start work as a paid career for Isabella Deitzlo. Let me tell you something. This is how they often engage in nefarious human trafficking, making people work for free and all these things, because human trafficking doesn't just consist of people being made to give out, prostitute themselves and all those things. Sometimes they actually fool people like they're going to give them a job, and it's usually destitute people they find on the streets that are homeless, runaway teenagers and things like that, men that are hard on their luck, down on their luck. And so they'll promise them a good job with good pay. And then when they show up, they work all these hours in hazardous conditions very often and get no pay. And if they get anything, it's just a few coins. And that's what they do. And they make the people stay there through force and fear. Okay, so anyway, it goes on to say that she thought she was going to be working for this woman, Isabella. Now, police said the victim worked for the Vile family at addresses on the outskirts of Birmingham and Eindhoven for more than 5 years in conditions which amounted to modern-day slavery. She was made to work for long hours, 7 days a week with no pay. The victim was promised wages, but she never saw a penny. And in the end, she stopped asking for it because she just knew it wasn't coming. Now, she was made to sleep in a garden shed under a blanket on the floor, sometimes in unsanitary conditions. She was kept isolated, not allowed to use the phone or contact her family. Her Polish identification card was kept from her, and this was the only documentation she had. Her identity was also misused by the family for their own financial gain. So an investigation was eventually launched after concerned neighbors raised the alarm about the victim's welfare. The neighbors told police about the conditions that the victim was living in and said they saw her out on the streets most days, cleaning the family's cars in all sorts of weather. Now, the cops persuaded the victim to leave the address after she initially denied being held against her will. That's how brainwashed she was and how afraid. This is what they do to their victims. They use fear-mongering and, psychological tactics very often, even though these fools clearly don't look like they had any skill in that, but they probably just scared her, and made threats and things like that. So anyway, in the police car, she told the officers, "It's like a dream. I cannot believe that I am now free." So when the officers brought her a coffee, she was visibly overwhelmed. No one had brought her a coffee before, according to the police. So all 4 defendants were arrested on May the 14th of 2020 and jailed on Friday after they were found guilty following a 7-week trial. Now, Detective Constable Petra Williams said this was a lengthy investigation which revealed numerous crimes committed by the family. The victim comes from a poor background with both parents deceased. She'd hoped coming to the UK would offer her a better life, and one can only imagine the disappointment she must have felt when she was made to face those unacceptable conditions. Now, the family clearly exploited the victim and took advantage of her vulnerable state. They made the victim believe that she could go to the police, that if she went, she would never get help and would be in trouble. It was clear that with time, the victim lost hope in the situation and thought that it would never improve, and she just clearly gave up. As she said, "I hope that this case will encourage anyone who finds themselves in a similar situation or anyone concerned for someone they know to come forward and make a report." Isabella Deitlow of Tottenhall Road in Einfeld was sentenced to 9 years behind bars. Should have gotten more than that, as far as I'm concerned. She was convicted of 1 count of trafficking a person into UK for exploitation, 3 counts of holding a person in servitude, and 4 counts of fraud by false representation. Zanzil Deitlow of the same address, that's the 19-year-old girl, she was sentenced to 16 months in custody, suspended for 24, and I've already told you all of that. At the end of the day, this was also egregious. They say, this victim now has the opportunity to begin to realize her dreams for her life in UK. Now, if you suspect that you or someone have come into contact with a person who may be a victim of modern-day slavery or trafficking and requires support, please call the Salvation Army's 24-hour confidential referral helpline. You can also report a suspicion or seek advice through the modern slavery helpline, confidentiality. And so it's open 24 hours a day, 365. You can also report it to the police. And so with that, I've been saying, this is also sad, right? And let me show you some pictures of these thugs who did all of this. Likes up, everyone. Please like and share. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Thank you in advance. Okay, this is a 47-year-old, honey. She looks much older. I'm sorry, it's true. Okay, Isabella Deitlow, 9 years. And then this man is 63, Andres Kasparowicz, 9 years for him. Zanzil Deitlow, the 19-year-old who got the 16 months and suspended 24 months sentence. And this is a 22-year-old by the name of Kamil Weslowski. He got 12 months in custody, suspended 24 months. And they both got, the latter two clearly got community service. So anyway, that is so nefarious. And let me tell you all something, honey. Over 200,000 people are trafficked every year in the United States. Okay? And of those people, most of them are women and children. Very often the men are taken, into trafficking with the whole situation like this woman went through. They tell them, we can give you a job, you're going to make all this money, but you have to go out of state. And then they end up taking this homeless person who's down on their luck. They take them off somewhere where they don't know anyone. They have no way to get in contact with family or relatives. They have them working in extremely hazardous and dangerous conditions with no type of safety gear. And they start off telling them that they'll be paid, but they don't. And they keep them there, through fear and abuse, violence. That's what they do. So it's also sad. Anyway, everyone, please like and share, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so that you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Peace.
In order for you and me to devise some kind of method or strategy to offset some of the events or a repetition of the events that have taken place here in Los Angeles recently, we have to go to the root. We have to go to the cause.
Another day, another black king captured. I'm about to lose my brain, stuck inside this ghetto rapture. I got a lot of smoke, if you want it, you can have it. They want a hat trick, but this is black girl magic. Ain't talking about the kind that'll make you disappear, but I'm talking about the power of the melanin within. Ain't looking for trouble, but I'ma say this one time. I put 2 dukes up if you try to touch mine. We still want justice for Samir and Trayvon. You say you don't see color, but racism ain't blind. They targeting little kids whose skin look just like mine. So I'm paranoid, it's a war zone outside. And I'm a black queen, so if you ask me to step out of my car, you gon' have to snatch me. Cause I ain't going no damn well. Had to spend my whole life living unfair. Ancestors got my back and they right here. You can never understand, it's a nightmare. Living in my black shoes by the black rules. You can keep your handshake, I don't dap coon. The white man to go nuts if he cash you. But you all on his side like a damn fool. Make it make sense.
We are oppressed.
Queen.
We are exploited. We are downtrodden.
Make it make
Queen.
We are
sense.
denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to get some of this
Ahmadiyah.
oppression and exploitation
Queen.
away from us or aside from us is come together
Queen.
against the common enemy. Who taught you to hate the texture of your
Ahmadiyah.
hair? Who taught you to hate the color of your skin?
Ahmadiyah.
Parents, pay attention to the books, the school system, even to your little children. Lies mixed with wisdom. His skin too bright, so he was blind to the prison. My skin just right, so I collide with division. You trying to pray to God, but we tired of religion. No savior saving, we got to save our savings. We used to pay miss, how we gon' make the slave rich? But who's to blame, and tell me why you complaining? We need a team effort just to rule the nation. Like a bad relationship, missing communication. We missing moderation. They're trying to get a poison to my population. No reparations. I'm getting tired of Satan.
We are oppressed.
I'm
Queen.
getting tired of waiting.
We are downtrodden.
Queen.
We are denied not only civil rights, but even human rights.
Ahmadiyah.
So the only way we're going to